All right, welcome back to the Elias Makos Show. Now, the Quebec government has introduced Bill 94. It aims to expand the province's ban on religious symbols to include all school staff and volunteers, not just teachers. The bill is also going to prohibit students from wearing face coverings, such as the full face veil. The government argues the bill strengthens secularism in schools. It has faced strong criticism from Muslim groups, unions, even some constitutional experts. They say it infringes on individual freedoms and violates the Canadian Charter. Let's get one voice on this. Mandana Javan joins us in studio. She's a Quebecer of Iranian origin, and she is very active when it comes to advocating for secularism in Quebec. Mandana, thanks for coming back to the show, and thanks for coming in studio.
My pleasure. Thank you for your invitation.
So I want to talk about the criticism of this bill, right?
Yeah.
I hear people that say that this bill, and Bill 21 before it, this discriminates against women. It discriminates particularly against Muslim women. Mandana, what do you say to that?
As an Iranian woman, I was born in Iran after the revolution. I think actually this is the best way to protect our kids, our daughters, to be undermined and to undermine their dignity as women. Separating all this segregation in the name of indoctrination, ideological indoctrination. I don't call it religious beliefs, because it's really a question of proselytism behind that. It's a real question of evangelism behind that. It's not just some beliefs. It's imposing a very strict set of disciplines to kids in our schools without having any consent from them or from their families, in order to impose them, to indoctrinate them that the only way of thinking is that, the only vision of the world is that. The part that's very important is not the question of individual liberty. It's a question of the environment that we provide to our kids in order to their best development. Do we want, as a society, as citizens, do we want to impose this restricted discipline and environment to our kids?
So you're focusing on the kids there, and I know I've heard people will shoot back. Well, you have to think about those teachers that can't teach anymore, those Muslim teachers, those Muslim women that can't teach anymore. What do you say to that?
I think everyone before immigration in Muslim countries, we have this education, Islamic education. We know what's the concept of Dar al-Kufr, means the territory of people who don't believe in our religion. And we know that if we go there, even Muhammad, Prophet, invited people to be adapted to the situation. This lack of adaptation is adaptation to Western societies. It's a very, very recent phenomena, ideological, political phenomena that we see since 40, 50 last years. It's not a part of really Islamic beliefs, because they are supposed to be adapted. And when it arrives, it's not, for me, it's not a religious belief anymore. It's not a question of spirituality. It's just an ideological, political point of view, and these persons, they have to accept if they are advocating for an ideology, and this is the priority of their life or their job.
I want to play you some audio here, because we had Bernard Drinville, the education minister. He came on this show on last Friday, to talk about the bill. And he was talking about some of the things that have been found in the various schools, and then the accusations that are levied against him and other government officials when they try and do something about it. Have a listen.
One of the findings by the investigators that looked into the situations in these 17 schools, they came back with a report, and they said that in some cases, school administrators will not apply the rules, will not apply the law, because they're so afraid of being accused of bigotry or racism or whatever the heck, that they just give up. Well, that's enough. That's enough, man. I'm standing up for equality between men and women. You want to say I'm a racist for that? Well, you can say it as much as you want. I'm not gonna give up on this.
So that was the education minister. And I wonder what you have to say when you hear that, and when you hear people get accused of being, well, the reason they want this is because they're racist, because they're bigots. That's why they want these laws.
Mm-hmm. First of all, I'm so proud of Monsieur Drinville. I know that since he was with Pauline Marois' government, he had really these convictions. This will not be easy for Monsieur Drinville, for our directors in the schools. It's not easy even leaving the pressures of unions leaders that they will leave, even the members of unions, because I'm not talking about all members. I'm talking about leaders that they will push and they will put pressure on everyone. But as citizens, as a society, we have this responsibility to preserve this healthy environment for our kids in the school, and we need to support unconditionally Mr. Drinville or all our directors in the schools. I'm talking to parents in this regard, to be there for our teachers, for our parents. We saw Bedford scandal. We saw that how some gangs can put intimidation and pressure, social pressures on others in order to prevent the application. I don't know how we will gonna have a control mechanism in order to control and to check and balance the application of the law. It's the next steps, but it's not going to be easy for our society.
And what do you say to someone who says, well, we had Bill 21, and it stopped, it stopped people with hijabs being teachers. Well, look what happened. Bedford still happened. And as the education minister lined out, 17 different cases.
Yeah.
So what do you say to someone, well, these laws won't do anything because it doesn't change, it may change what's on your head, doesn't change what's in your head?
Yeah, but in my humble opinion, the problem is not what is in your head, is the proselytist behaviors are the problem. That with many other ways of symbols, behaviors, of disciplines, of segregation, you can impose without having any need, without a need for, symbols on your head to impose these kinds of education to the kids at school. This is the evangelism, the proselytism, which is the problem, Then we have to frame these kinds of behavior. It's not easy just to say if you don't have a hijab, it's okay. It's not going to change the behavior,
Why do you think I get a difference of opinion sometimes? Like when I have panelists come on my show, they're all like, no, Quebec, Bill 21, Quebec is racist and this is terrible, shouldn't be done. Then I often talk to secular Muslim women or cultural Muslim women, and they have ideas like you.
Yeah.
Why do you think I see that schism, that difference?
Yeah, I think the difference is really the lack of knowledge, is really ignorance. And some people, they want to stay blind and don't see what's going on, for example, in Iran regard hijab or other Muslim countries, or how this ideology, how the proselytism and the pressure, intimidation that comes with can destroy women's life especially, and can affect the quality of life, the mental health of our kids. Even some things that's bothering me a lot is the practice of Ramadan in our primary school for our kids' development. Their brain needs that. We have many cases in our countries, Muslim countries, of kids who are gonna die every Ramadan in the schools because they didn't eat, they didn't drink, and they just passed out. And these are the things that as citizens in a democratic society we need to talk about.
Well, thank you for coming on our airwaves to talk about it. Always appreciate hearing your voice.
Thank you.
That's Mandana Javan, a Quebecer of an Iranian origin and an advocate here for secularism in the province.